All right, so I've got 3 of the 4 floors from this terraced house that I've been working on. I'm working from incomplete plans, so I've been doing a combination of adhering to what the actual plan is, and in some cases ad-libbing a little bit. But let's just take a moment to review some things before I go on to the top floor, where I think I'll explore putting in cabinets and some features like that. For the moment, I'm going to hide that back view, the front view, and take a moment to discuss strengths and weaknesses of what I've done so far. So, having looked this over, there are some issues. First of all, as I pointed out in previous videos, sometimes you just end up with things, whether it's the cube I was using for reference or these baseboards. Sometimes there's things in the scene that you don't want, so I'm going to take some time to go through and look for things like that that don't necessarily belong or that I don't necessarily want. Additionally, one thing that I've noticed is that, not surprisingly, just based on how I'm doing this floor by floor, there are some issues with the walls maybe not extending all the way down, so from floor to floor. So there's some things like that that I'm going to have to play around with. As with anything in life, it's always a matter of what is the standard. This is sort of a practice project. Uh, but if I'm going for a high professional standard, clearly this is still missing the mark. I've got some cases where the walls are bleeding through. So I might adjust some wall lengths. I might actually join some of these items. Um, on that same note, making things all uniform, one thing that I've noticed is some parenting issues. When I added the first floor at the beginning of this, I added these windows and doors, and they don't seem to be part of the first floor, although they had been. So it seems that when I add a new floor, with each subsequent floor, any previous doors and windows that previously existed in the project end up being parented to that. I think in some cases I can maybe see the logic in that, but in this case, that's not what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and find those first couple of doors, and I can see the reference point when I select them, and windows that I picked or that I put in. And I'm also going to push control on the first floor, and I'm going to do a control P and parent those windows and doors to the first floor. So that way, if I do make changes to the first floor, if I resize it or decide there's something with the scaling or what have you, it can apply the changes across the board depending on how I do it to that floor. So that's one change I'm going to make. I'll go through and do more of that in a bit. Additionally, as I played around with things before, I've got the ceilings and floors. And just like I referenced this wall bleeding into this wall, you can see that these walls are bleeding into the ceiling and then potentially showing through in the next level. So I might take some time to go through and decide what an appropriate height is for those different walls and go ahead and make those changes. Um, and then, of course, I referenced the walls near the stairs, not necessarily extending down, but also, where the stairs come up, I should probably have a hole in the floor. So maybe I'll take a moment for that as well. I'll do that in a separately, just as a short Boolean video, and then we'll take it from there.